It's a pop quiz. Let's see how many you can get right. It took Visa 25 years to process 1 billion transactions. How many years will it take Bitcoin to do the same thing? How many countries own as much Bitcoin as Microstrategy? And is it true that Tesla has added a well-known meme coin to their site as a payment method? Which one would you guess that it is? The answers to these questions, as well as the mysteries of the universe, they're all revealed. They're all here on today's Bad News episode number 725 of the Bad Crypto Podcast. Yo.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition.
Who's bad?
You like how I threw everybody off there, Trav? Like the cadence of that. They were like, you said it differently. That's not
Dude, you threw me off. I didn't even know what show we were recording.
That's not how you say of the Bad Crypto Podcast, Joel Comm.
That's not how you broke protocol, Mr. Joel Comm.
You know why? You know why? Because I'm 60 now and I don't care.
You get off my lawn. Happy birthday to you, good sir.
Thank you. Really interesting. And when I slid into 50, I kind of ran into 50, hit a wall going into 50. And then I turned 50 and I'm like, oh, this is fine. This is great. Turns out was the most amazing decade of my life. So knowing that I was going to turn 60, I really slid into it. Like I'm like, I just hit the base and I'm like, I'm good.
Stole second and then stole third. And you're like,
and home.
Man.
And I stole home and I feel good. I feel great. And
you're looking great, feeling good. Your biological clock's probably much younger than your actual physical age. So that's always good.
Thought you said my biological cock.
Your biological clock.
No.
Okay. I don't think I've ever made a comment about your cock ever. Nor will I.
I think you just did.
Except this weird one right now.
I think you just did. I thought
you made it cockward. What the hell's your deal? Making everything so
Don't get cocky with me. Welcome to the Bad Crypto Podcast.
Very
friends,
bad, really.
Where I'm 60 and don't give a flippity fly. But glad that you guys are here. And how are you, Travis?
How old am I? I turn 51 in 10 days.
Next birthday.
It's gonna be my best decade ever.
that would be
I'm gonna
funny
slide under this bitch like a son of a bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Did you say your best dick-aid?
Best decade ever. Yes, I did.
Can you imagine there was, they did Live Aid, the concert for,
Dick-Aid.
for the poor, for like Dick-Aid for erectile dysfunction, to solve erectile dysfunction. Bunch of musicians.
I got front row tickets to Dick-Aid. So good. Can't wait to see it. This is going to be awesome. So, yeah.
I'll tell you what. Why don't we leave this conversation behind, do a little transition thing, and we'll end up talking about crypto instead of dicks.
Okay. I like that. Welcome to Cryptos Instead of Dicks.
Oh my gosh. All right. Just refreshed CoinGecko timestamp if you're still with us. Cinco de Sixto, 2024, and it is 2:48 p.m. Eastern time. The total crypto market cap, $2.46 trillion. Bitcoin on the way back up, creeping back up, 63,330. Ethereum, 3,080. BNB, 590, Solana 152, XRP 54 cents, Dogecoin 15.5 cents, and ton at 587. How much is a ton? It's 587 a ton.
That's good. That is nice. And I always like to look at the 30-day versus the 7-day versus the last whatever. And so it was nice to see Bitcoin kind of pop up a little bit, but still over the last 30 days it's down 7%. But it was nice. It was getting down to 50 something and then boom, it did a little shot up. So there's a lot of chartists that are saying that that's the indicator that historically on every other chart like this, after a halving and whatnot, and after we've passed an all-time high, it does you pass the all-time high, it does then it dribbles down about 20-30%, then it does this little pop-up. So according to the charts, it looks like it's probably going up, but then again, do we really know? It is nice though to see some green on the charts, Sir Lord Joel Comm. We got
This is the
WorldCoin.
dribble zone right here, Trav.
Yeah,
This is what
yeah,
we call the dribble zone.
it's really good. That's right. So WorldCoin's up 32% over the last week. Dog with hat, which I still don't understand why this is
It's a
worth
dog with a hat,
3.3.
dude. What do you need to understand?
All I know is I'm a little pissed off, dude. Why are cats not getting any love, dude? Only dog meme coins. There's not been any real good cat meme coins. Like, why is that? What does crypto people hate cats?
I don't know. Let's search for cat. So we have cat coin, we have pajamas cat, and of course there's a cat with hat up 140%. Trav.
Yeah, but how much is there any of them worth $1 billion or more? Because Doge is worth like a ridiculous amount.
It's only worth 20 million right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. But other animals deserve attention too, is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. Because if you just type in cat and then just try to look and see all the cryptos, like they're just not. I mean, the fully diluted value for cat in a dog's world is it's $376 million. So that's interesting. But yeah, crypto is a dog land, and I don't know why that is, but who are we here to argue with what is?
Here's the fear and greed index for the week right now. We're sitting at market sentiment 71 greed, and so people are starting to get greedier right here, and that is usually a buy signal, right? If people are greedy, they're buying. They're not selling off. So
it's just an interesting time because we're looking at, if you look at this like historically, as far as that thing goes back, it's like it goes up to greed, then it hangs out greed a little bit, then it goes down, right? So we've not really seen sustained greed. Although before there was like lots of greed, fear and index of greed as the price was pumping in November 2020, right? It was pumping up, and then the greed was still going on. Then people got a little too greedy, and then it started tanking. And so it's like, hopefully it's going to keep staying greedy, I guess, because I'd like to see the bull run hit, 6 figures of Bitcoin. So this is a weird one, right? Because of how everything got moved up because of the Bitcoin ETFs. And then so it's a little like uncharted territory. So, history does not repeat itself, but it often rhymes. And I'm trying to listen to the cadence of the rhyme. And it's weird. It's weird to see. I've never seen it hit all-time greed, then go down, and then hit greed all-time high again up there. Extreme greed. So we'll see.
Well, we know this. One of the reasons that we like crypto is transactions. You can do transactions. You can do them inexpensively. I had to send a wire transfer using traditional banking this last week, and they dinged me for $25 to send a wire transfer.
Did you have to go to the bank?
No, I didn't have to go to the bank. I can do it online. So at least there was that. I did it in an app. But one of the questions was, how long did it take Bitcoin? How long will it take Bitcoin to hit 1 billion transactions? Well, guess what? We know the answer. 10 years faster than Visa. Visa did it. It took them 25 years to hit 1 billion transactions. Bitcoin did it in 15 years. Just as of yesterday, it happened. So, and there's other chains that have done more transactions like that. Like if you look at the tweets, somebody chimes in and says, yeah, Hedera has done 50 billion transactions already, but it's not widely used like Bitcoin is. So congratulations, Bitcoin, on breaking a new milestone.
Yeah, that is. I mean, considering that, Visa had a monopoly up until the 1970s. And then, and now we're sitting at a time where Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, whatever, all these other shit coins. It took them so long to get to a billy, and Bitcoin got to a billy faster than all of them's. So suck it, Visa.
Meanwhile, Bitcoin runes are taking up a lot of these transactions, and we need to get the dude. We need to discover more about runes. A lot of the transactions that are taking place on the Bitcoin network are for runes, and you can see it right here. For those of you that like the charts, look at this. The pink is when runes came out, and that's how much in transactions. Almost 64% of transactions yesterday were for runes.
That is a lot. And so there's a lot of stuff that's popping off with this. And it really is exciting as people start to understand how powerful runes can be, because man, it's like you're putting these digital assets on the Bitcoin blockchain, and Bitcoin is a commodity, right? And so looking at it from the SEC perspective, that makes it interesting. And then there's all these other conversations around the SEC thinking that Ethereum and all the other ones are securities. So putting things on top of Bitcoin is fascinating, and that we're going to see a lot of things being built on Bitcoin. Like right now, I'm in this Bitcoin, it's called bitcoinstartuplab.com, and this is their 6th cohort that they've done. And they had over 3,500 submissions into this thing, Joel. So there's all kinds of people wanting to build on Bitcoin, and they just chose 60 people. So my team's one of the group that's in there. And it's just kind of wild to think about how many people are wanting to build on Bitcoin. And as we're in this Bitcoin cycle, right, leading towards the big conference in Nashville, Bitcoin conference in July, like it seems to me like there's a lot of people going to be building on Bitcoin, a lot of funds and a lot of money going to be coming into projects being built on Bitcoin. So I would say keep an eye on that.
You
Plus,
are the
think about
chosen
this,
one.
Joel. Think about this, Joel. All these boomers out there with all that cash that's been sitting there, and they've been trading, and they've been thinking about, oh, crypto's a scam, but now Bitcoin ETFs are popping off, right? And they're going, wait a second, I need to know more about the cryptos.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you've been chosen. I choose you, Travis.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
that. Speaking of building upon Bitcoin, guess what? There is a Bitcoin-backed dollar that's going to launch with a 25% yield, USDH. Why H? USD. USD, does that stand for like USD hash? Oh, Hermenetica. That's the name of the company. The launch of the first ever Bitcoin-backed synthetic USD with yield generating capabilities. And so this is Bitcoin DeFi that's happening. You know, when Bitcoin was initially envisioned, it was just peer-to-peer payments. But because it's decentralized, how are you going to stop anybody from building anything on the chain? You're not.
Dude, we've talked about this several times. Like, why is it that, you know, these other coins, you know, why is there a tether that's connected to essentially Ethereum and these other smart coins or stable coins that are doing this stuff? Why is there not one on Bitcoin? And so it's really interesting to see that that's what's going to happen. And why would it have such a high yield? I wonder what kind of issues that could create down the road. So I think I'm going to keep an eye on this. This is the first time I've actually heard of this, having it be in our news. And so I'm gonna do some more research on this, Sir Lord.
Yeah, so this is going to allow Bitcoiners to trade, lend, and transact in a dollar asset that's fully backed by Bitcoin. And the CEO says that the native yield fluctuates with the market's demand for long leverage. And they back tested from 2021 to 2024, showing an average APY of 11.71% during the bull market. 2022, the annual return was 26%. So that's what they're basing this on.
Okay.
And we shall see. One of the other questions
It's good that it fluctuates. They're not just saying it's going to be 25%, because how the hell can you know that? The fact that it's fluctuating makes a little bit more sense to me. Maybe, you know, we look at having somebody from Hermetica on the show in the future. So we'll send a call out into the universe.
Or just call Hermetica. Probably be easier than
This is a call to Hermetica.
Hermetica. I just want whoever we interviewed there to be named Herman.
Okay.
Herman from Hermetica would make my day. Like that's a freebie. If your name is Herman from Hermetica, you're on the show.
I think it's probably more of a nod to Hermes, who
or Henrietta,
who's Magistus.
Hermetica.
Probably.
Are there any Henriettas anymore? Probably not. One of the other questions I asked earlier was,
could you be so embarrassed? I am Henrietta. Oh my
Hermetica.
God. This is Mabel.
How many countries have more Bitcoin than, or how many countries does MicroStrategy have more Bitcoin than? Well, gang, the answer is all of them. All of them. MicroStrategy now owns more Bitcoin than any country in the world, with the USA being the country that holds the most, 207,189. MicroStrategy owns 214,400 Bitcoin. That's mind-blowing. We have more Bitcoin than any nation in the world.
It is mind blowing, but I would look at this and I would say bullshit on this list. It's not comprehensive because BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF has more
They're not a country.
Bitcoin. But it's not a country. It says this: public companies and countries with the largest Bitcoin holdings. Tesla's not a company. Coinbase is not a country.
Right. You're right.
Coinbase is not a country. So CleanSpark's not a country. So
well,
I mean,
let's ask.
Yeah.
How many
BS on this list? But it's interesting to see that America. What have they started collecting Bitcoin now? I guess they say, hey,
well, I mean, they're probably
they've collected a lot from people.
So we have numbers going back to February here, at which point in February 1st, BlackRock's iShares held 70,000 Bitcoin. But I don't know exactly what they've increased their holding to as of today. I don't have current data. The most current I have is February 28th, 110,000 Bitcoin. Man, can you imagine when we finally break the 6-figure mark? I mean, in my mind, it's a foregone conclusion. It's just a matter of time because that's how Bitcoin is designed. I mean,
well, the dollar is going to become worth less and less, and Bitcoin's not going to plummet in value unless something crazy happens. Now, if we look at this next story, though, this is crazy because when this happened, this took over. This was like almost trending on Twitter, but a trader lost $68 million in crypto to an address poisoning scam. And so you guys have to pay attention to this. What ends up happening in some scenarios is there's like a malware or some sort of thing that attaches to your browser. And whenever you copy an address, it will then create an address or try to match an address close to the one that you have. Because a lot of people are just looking at the first few digits of it and go, oh, yeah, it's 0x1e, that's it. But that might be similar to another one. So what happens is whenever you copy an address and you paste an address, it pastes their address. And so this dude lost $68 million. I assume it's a dude. $68 million. They lost some wrapped BTC, which was, for one, why would you have all this amount of Bitcoin wrapped on an Ethereum address?
Yeah.
$68 million, 1,155 wrapped Bitcoin lost.
If you think you're having a bad day, all right, just consider, could you imagine? Like, it's gone. You can't reverse it. It's gone. And I guarantee that they sold out, as much of that as they could really quickly. And
why would you send that without doing a test, though? I mean, what? I mean, it's like,
well,
maybe they did a small test, but it says, hey, if it's I don't know, it's that if your computer gets infected with that and they're just auto changing your thing. That's why whenever you're pasting, you got to look exactly at that address.
Exactly.
And then look at the last few letters of the address.
Yeah, but that's the problem, Trav. The problem is they didn't look at the whole address. The duplicate, the scam, was that the first few characters and the last few characters were the same. And when you look at many scans, sometimes there's not enough room to show you the whole address unless you click into it. So you only see the last ones. You're like, yeah, that's my address. I recognize that. Yeah. So I would imagine that if you were a scammer, you could create as many addresses as you want. And when you find one that matches the last few characters and the first few characters match an existing address in a wallet, then they send them a small amount of crypto in a transaction. And it looks like the most recent transaction was using that wallet. So people just click the most recent one. That's how they got scammed. So it's not enough. Just look at the front and the back. You got to make sure that the address is letter for letter, especially if you're going to be sending $68 million in wrapped Bitcoin.
$68 million. My bunghole is so clenched tight. Like I have a headache already. And I'm looking at this going, oh my God, like, dude, the amount of just cringy feelings until you get validation that's gone through. So imagine that cringy feeling he has sending it. And then that cringy feeling gets worse and never goes away.
You should have AI write a song called That Cringy Feeling, all about how your bunghole puckers when you're sending large amounts of
we're going to do it. Crypto. We're going to do it. Stay tuned to the end of this episode because it'll be on there.
It'll be on there. Okay.
The crypto clench.
The crypto clench is coming. We're going to do a
Yeah.
song. Here's another story for you. 90% of stablecoin transactions, guess what? They're not driven by human beings. They're bots. This is what this new study has found here. And it's not actual people's sending the money. So what is it?
Well, it's probably trading bots, right? And then if you're doing any trading on platforms, then that's probably it's an exchange trade that's happening. How do they determine which ones are real and which ones are not? But I think we're going to see this. I think this number will always remain pretty high for the simple fact that companies are going to be using AI, and AI is going to communicate with other AI and trade with micro transactions in crypto. It seems that that would be what would happen. So overall, more transactions will be through bots, but that are led by people who are in control of them. It would seem. I don't know. This doesn't seem that weird to me.
Well, here's the gem in the article, Trav, that
Okay.
the research firm that tracks this, data analysts at Bernstein, said that the value of all stablecoins in circulation could reach 2.8 trillion by 2028, nearly 18 times their current combined circulation. 2.8 trillion is more than the current total crypto market cap. So if
That's nearly
that's
$3
the
trillion.
case,
That's crazy.
right. If that's the case, then we're looking at 2028 at a total crypto market cap of like 15 trillion, maybe more. Yeah, 18 times it'd be actually 20 trillion or so. Man, that would be some rapid growth. I this is just my
I
dos
don't even know, bro.
centavos
It's
on
crazy.
this. I find it hard when you start thinking of the multiples of what people are expecting for new all-time highs. When crypto goes ba 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 boom like that, how do people not go, "Oh my gosh, sell." Like we just tripled, we just quadrupled. How does it find the volatility that's going to happen when this stuff explodes? I don't know that we're ever going to see the downturns of 50, 60 or 70% ever again. I just can't see it. I still expect the 20% downturns, but we're talking so much money. How is it going to go from 250,000 to 100 and 100,000? That just I can't. We're talking too much money, too big of a pullback.
Yeah, and then if you're actually looking at this as well, there is a. I'm gonna send over this chart over to you. Good for nothing blockchains. Let me actually copy this, send it over to you on the fancy dancy signal, because it's so weird when you think about it. So basically, what happened is Forbes went through and looked at all these different blockchains and all these different block explorers through CoinGecko, Masari, bit info charts, token terminal, et cetera, et cetera. And they were looking at all of them and they're like, look at these top 20 blockchains with a total market cap value with more than 100 billion. And besides, they're very unproven and there's nothing more so than speculative crypto trading. Most of them have a lot of treasuries that are sitting there with a lot of money brimming from that. But they don't answer to shareholders or regulators. And then they just go through and it's just every one of them, it's just talking shit on every one of them. So if we are getting to 18 times the 2.8 trillion we're talking, like $20 trillion, like a lot of these projects are going to be worth so much, but you know, real companies are got to be profitable. So like, where's the profits going to be coming from on that? Or is it just going to be mostly Bitcoin that's just worth a whole shitload? So it's just
Well, I,
weird.
I think it's going to be down to adoption. Many of these technologies we're looking here on the screen right now that, it even says internet computer, minimal usage. Well, that means that we're going to start seeing adoption. I was listening to Michael Saylor, who's one of my favorite guys to listen to in the space. And, he says that he expects the government to say no to an Ethereum ETF. And he thinks that that is one of the catalysts for Bitcoin because enterprise money, corporations are waiting for certainty. Right now, MicroStrategy's in, Tesla's got holdings. There's other companies that have holdings, but the huge swarm of influx into Bitcoin is going to happen once there's enough certainty that they're like, okay, this is the coin. This is how it's what we're gonna, that we want to stash as part of our holdings. And I think he might be right about that. He's like a modern day prophet and a dude who's willing to put his money and shareholders and the future of his company's money where his mouth is. I think he might be the smartest dude in the room.
Mm-hmm.
He's not
It's
in this
quite
room.
possible. It's quite possible. And then all the rest of them go on a bull run. But then again, crypto's not just America, right? So America says whatever America wants, but it's not the rest of America. Now, typically, the rest of the world typically follows suit with what America says. So it could tank some of those other cryptos temporarily. That could also be a boon for ICP down the road because we'll just have to see. Because things are decentralized. You're saying, oh no, this is not a utility, but when true utility is built in, it's a different thing. So I think there could be a big shakeout in a lot of those cryptos. But it goes back to that question to me, Joel, is if they only want Bitcoin to be the project, then that was probably set forth, 15, 20 years ago, when, in my opinion, the NSA probably had something to do with the creation of Bitcoin. When you see those early papers on like how to mint a digital coin, and they were talking about that in the 90s, and there's a whole, that white paper from the NSA. There's something going on. And then you also
There
see
either is or there isn't. Like,
there either
to
is or
say
there
there
isn't. And then the
is,
Economist magazine having something on the cover that says the future of money. And it looked like a Bitcoin. And it was like 30 years ago. And you're like going, okay, was there something going on? I don't know. It's just weird to think about. If
we're
they
just
try to
not
kill
gonna,
all the other ones and then only allow Bitcoin, that means they like Bitcoin and they have some
but who
control of it.
really cares? The
I don't know.
US makes up a small percentage of the world, even though, we
All
have
right.
the strongest
That's true.
economy. There's the rest of the world, and they're going to do what they want to do. And if they tell their citizens, hey, it's all fair game, guess what's going to happen? We fall
Mhm.
behind in dominance. Development goes offshore, and Americans go, fine, I'll find another citizenship or another way to KYC and play this game because
Mhm.
up yours.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the government continues to say up yours to companies, as Robinhood has received a Wells notice from the government. They're saying that they're going to file enforcement action against Robinhood for violations of the Security Exchange Act of 1934. And Robinhood is fighting back. And this is what we need to see. We need to see that these companies that are onboarding people into crypto do fight back. And I think ultimately the SEC is going to have a really hard time with all of these battles, with Coinbase and Consensus. They've already demonstrated that they're not nearly as strong as they thought they would be in the Ripple case.
Mhm.
I think that the good
Well, then
guys
you
might
even
win
got
out.
those attorneys, dude. Those attorneys for the SEC ended up leaving the SEC because they were, not being open-minded at all and only hardballing and being a little corrupt. And so they ended up getting fired or ended up walking away from some of the cases. And so you're going to have these regulators that are doing things that maybe aren't above board. And so that ends up typically coming back and backfiring in some way. So hopefully it would be nice just to get for them, to pretty much shut the fuck up and just let people in innovation get moving, right? Because, when you're stuck in the previous world and the regulators, they're stuck in the previous world because they have the most to gain from it, right? They make so much money through, the whole investment strategy. Hey, take tax dollars, give them to another company or country, and have that country giving it back to the politicians through their through their foundations and whatnot, like we saw with FTX and all the politicians that got paid on that. And there's a whole lot of stuff we don't even see. So they want to keep their train rolling as long as possible because they're making lots of money on that. They don't like middle America and just the mom and pops and the middle class to get wealthy. They're trying to not have that happen.
Well,
My opinion.
for quite some time, people have been speculating due to Elon Musk's support of Dogecoin, how or if he would adopt Dogecoin on Twitter/X or any of his projects. And guess what? It's happened as of May the 4th. Dogecoin is now an official Tesla payment on various products. And I went through and clicked to the site right here. And it says on Tesla, what can I buy from Tesla with Dogecoin? Look for the Dogecoin symbol next to the order button for Dogecoin eligible products. I don't know, what those products are here yet. I'm not sure. Like if I just click on a Model X and am I going to see a little Doge buy button somewhere? I'm sure somebody's discovered what you can buy with it. I just don't know which ones, but that's a big step in the right direction here. And, the author of this article says, you know what, I think, now we're going to see Doge go to $1 as a result.
Dude, I remember distinctly, probably it was like 2015 or something. And I remember looking at stuff and I was looking at that. I was like, ah, ha, ha, Dogecoin. And dude, on April 24th, 2015, Doge was worth 0.00001 cent, bro. It was worth, what is that? 1/100th of a penny. And I was like, ha ha ha, God, that's hilarious. And instead, I could have, I should have bought a shitload, but no, I looked at it and I laughed. And now it is worth 15 cents on the way to $1, something that I would have never expected that to happen. But then again, I know people like jokes, and so I probably should have expected it. That's when being a pastist is probably be more
Well, I
profitable.
mean, it's a long way from $1. It's 15 cents right now. So, if
Yeah.
you do your research and if you're a believer and you
Yeah.
think that Doge is going to go to $1, then it would happen, I believe, on this bull run, right?
Yeah,
I
dude, it
think
got up to
within
70 cents, almost 70
yeah.
cents back in 2021, right? Like May of 2021, something like that.
Mhm.
Got up to like almost 70 cents, 16. I think it was probably 69 cents was probably the smartest number. And then did a little tankage and now it's going up. But here's the deal. It's 15 cents. It was more expensive than that back a couple weeks ago, back in March. It was like 22 cents.
Yeah. And
So it's
people
only
are
gone up 10% since he mentioned that. So it would seem like things like this move the market. So it's 15 cents now. It'll probably be 70 cents before you know it.
people are opening Doge wallets too, apparently more than XRP wallets and more than Cardano wallets, according to the data that they have here. There's a lot of interest in Dogecoin wallets. I like that Doge is so easy to use. Opening a wallet is simple and it's fast. And so I don't know. We're watching it, gang. MetaMask wants to combat front running of transactions, which could be very costly in gas fees. And so they continue to roll out features and functionalities to make it easier for people to use MetaMask. Smart transactions is what they're calling it.
See, I love that because there's some of those gas fees can be so ridiculous. I mean, we've had conversations about this in the past, just how like, God, it's just obnoxious. And then they just fluctuate so much because you don't know, like, oh, I can't do this transaction right now because gas fees are too high. So what a smart transaction do you think it's going to do? It's going to be able like, hey, let me do this transaction, but I'm okay doing it over the next 4 hours or whatever when the transaction fees are the lowest or what?
Yeah,
How's
well,
it
they
work?
they figure that there's $400 million every year being wasted on reverting transactions, stuck transactions, and things that are predatory that are basically based on people trying to front run, transactions by messing with, the parameters. Like we have stuff set to automatic in our wallets, but people have figured out how to change some of the parameters to front run projects, which means you don't get to mint your NFT and your transaction doesn't go into the block. So how it works is this: a user tells a blockchain wallet to submit a transaction, and usually they send it to a public meme pool where it waits to be confirmed. And so in this case, they're kind of putting an intermediary between the person making the transaction and the meme pool that can somehow balance this out. They're calling it a virtual meme pool. So I don't know. It sounds super technical to me. I just know if it works, great.
There we go. So if you would like, go ahead and take that article from our show notes, put it in ChatGPT, and explain it to me like I am 5.
Yeah, because that's
And we'll
what we
tell you.
need.
Gonna tell you what
So
we got.
remember hearing about Blue Sky when that was, the next big social. Oh, get your code to Blue Sky. This is going to be the next social. And Jack Dorsey, who helped found it, is now leaving the board, and he likes the freedom technology of X and Nostr. I got to tell you, I mean, I think history, if it's written accurately, will look back and say Elon Musk saved free speech. Right. Not that it's just disappearing from our Constitution or, from our Bill of Rights, but
Well, we
without,
just had some crazy stuff. This happened this week when
yeah,
basically the Congress has passed and says you can't say anything bad about Israel. Like,
yeah,
and that's like it's just like whoa, I can't. I mean, I don't. No one is omnipotent above criticism. If somebody's doing something shitty, it doesn't matter what race you are or what your genetics are. If you're doing something shitty, I'm not saying that Israel's doing something shitty. I'm just saying I can't criticize something that I don't like. Like that doesn't make any sense at all. So that just gives you carte blanche to just be assholes if you need to, which is not good either. And so one thing I'll say about Jack Dorsey is this: Jack Dorsey had a chance, right? Because he had a chance to be a hero in my mind. He had a chance because if you know the history of Google and you know the history of Facebook, Facebook was an NSA project. They shut down LifeLog the same day Facebook was turned on. And they said, hey, we're not going to track these people. We're going to have them proactively give us all their information and make them have fun in the process. Yay. And then Google was also a skunk works project funded by CIA VCs. Sergey Brin's dad or mom is in the intelligence space, and it was a whole big deal. Most people don't know that because they keep that really on the down low. But Twitter was the one that was kind of founded on its own. I loved early Twitter, right? You loved early Twitter so much, you wrote a couple books on it, right? And Jack Dorsey had a chance to be a hero, but instead he let the back doors of the government in and infiltrate Twitter and made it a shithole. And then he went out and said, I'm going to go create Blue Sky. Like, Jack, you should have paid attention to what you were fucking doing, and you fucked it up. Luckily,
yeah.
Elon came in and has done some stuff to kind of help save it. And it's just
Well, we saw what they were doing. The Twitter files showed us exactly
Yeah.
what they were doing. And
Yeah.
and we know based on what Twitter was doing that Google and Meta and LinkedIn, they're doing the same thing right now.
Microsoft.
They're doing
Yeah,
this. Yeah,
exactly.
they're all doing the same thing, and they're not to be trusted with your data, with your privacy, or with your time, to be candid. It's funny. I used to use social media so often, and once I saw that it became a net loss for society, and it's just getting worse and worse. I mean, what a septic tank TikTok is, right? It's just, and I'm not, the government calling on TikTok to divest of the Chinese ownership to a U.S. company. I don't know that it's going to be any better off. Do you see a U.S. company, handling it any differently?
Well, I'll say this: the whole TikTok thing is that when I look at it like this, is that when you know that what is it, like 70 something percent of our Congress senators and congressmen have dual passports
Mhm.
to Israel, and then Israel said we don't like what TikTok's saying, and then next thing you know, what's going off on TikTok. Oh, next thing you know, there's a whole big thing, and now they're trying to make TikTok sell it, right? Oh, we don't like what's being said, and so we want you to sell it. So that what that means is, hey, we would like this to go under our control over here somewhere, so that way we can censor the conversations that we don't want. I think TikTok is showing more things than even Twitter shows in some cases, where people who are going off and ranting. The millennials and Gen Z tend to go to TikTok first, and they're not as censored. They are censored whenever they're hate towards China, right? But if it's hate towards America or to the West, that stuff is able to flourish. So it's just weird. But however, I had a good TikTok growing like really early on in 2021 around NFTs. They didn't like NFTs and they shut that down. So I've kind of been like eat a bag of dicks TikTok anyway. But is there anything good anymore?
Life is good, my friend. Every
Yeah.
day we wake up is good. We have an
The sun keeps
opportunity
coming
to
out. That's true.
carpe all the DMs. There's another story here in our show notes about AI and being able to find money laundering through the Bitcoin blockchain, but I don't care. I
Yeah.
don't care because I'm 60 now
Right.
and I'm
That's
not
good.
laundering money.
It's true. It's good. All right. Yeah. So
I'm not even doing
again, happy
laundry.
birthday, dude. That's pretty exciting. You're in day one of 60. That's pretty good.
Things hurt the same as they did at 59.
Mm, well,
So
that's good.
yeah,
Any big plans? Any cool thing? You gonna go to any crypto conferences or anything
I
that
I
folks
have
know?
zero conferences on.
Which is
None.
weird for you. That's a little
It's
bizarre.
it's new. It's a new phase. I kind of, in many ways, I feel like I've been there and done that,
Yeah.
and I don't have anything new to say to an audience to speak of. It used to be we'd go and we'd do the shows on stage and all that, and that's a lot of fun, and we might do that again. But in a different phase of life, and kind of looking for, hey, what's next on the horizon, and I'll know when I see it.
That's good.
But we're going to stick around. We're here. This is episode 725. We're coming up on our 7-year crypto podcast anniversary in July. And I'm glad to be doing the show with you, Sir Lord.
Oh my gosh, that is freaking awesome, because the day after that, on the 19th of July, is when I'll be doing the demo for the product we're building on Bitcoin. It's the demo day is the 19th, and it's funny to think that after the 18th, 7 years. So that's there's a lot of good mojo. 7's a good mojo number, isn't it?
Oh, and I had a another 7-year anniversary pop up on my calendar for May 4th. On May 4th, I marked down that was 7 years ago that I made my first Bitcoin purchase.
Boom.
And there was I think it was around 1,500 at that time. And no, I didn't even buy a whole Bitcoin because I was new to it, but it was the first time that all my KYC and everything through Coinbase had gone through, and I was able to deposit funds and make my first purchase.
Dude, that's so good. Then you went and got some ant shares.
And I went and got some ant shares, and what the hell I was doing, figured out Ether Delta and all of those tools. There's something about when technology is new that it's super fun to get under the hood and crack the code on how to make it work before there's all these tools where anybody can do it. That is just something, I don't know. It's it's like a superpower. It makes you feel like, I figured it out. Now you just go download an app, put your name and all that, and go, boop, I bought crypto. There's not much to figure out.
But now we're in that phase of mass adoption where people are like, it's got to be easy. It's got to be smooth. It's got to be streamlined. It's got to make it easy for them because it's so confusing. So those early adopters, early bleeding edge pioneers like Sir Lord Joel Comm out there, where it's heading towards folks who need a little bit better handholding. So
thanks for sticking with us, gang. We appreciate you. We'll be back next week. If you got a moment to go review the podcast, 5 stars are always preferred, and you'll be a better human for it. You'll be happier with yourself. You'll sleep better. You'll have more fun in your life. You'll be more handsome or beautiful. Those are promises I can't make, but
it's true. Your penis will grow. It's gonna be very thick. And
we're back to the dick jokes.
We had to tie it all together.
Okay, now we got to go write a song now. What's it going to be called? The Crypto Clench?
The Crypto Clench.
All right, stick around for after the disclaimers, guys, where many times you'll find those Easter eggs. If you stick around long enough, things often happen after the disclaimers. Until next time, please stay bad. The Bad Crypto Podcast is a production of Bad Crypto LLC. The content of the show, the videos, and the website is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice of any kind. You shouldn't make any decisions as to finances, investing, trading, or anything else based on this information without undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional financial advisor. Please understand that the trading of Bitcoins and alternative cryptocurrencies have potential risks involved. Anyone wishing to invest in any of the currencies or tokens mentioned on this podcast should first seek their own independent professional financial advisor.
I'm sweating as I hit send. I'm sending some Bitcoin to my friend. Nerves stretched, then sphincters clenched. Heart drops, breath stops, the scammers win. My nerves on end with the crypto clinch. Sphincter so tight, let the grip of a wrench. Scammers changed my address, it was a cinch.